Improving your aim in Apex can be a long process, and it requires a conscious effort from each of us to maintain a focus on improving. But with it being the most important factor to your damage output, we've got to make sure we're giving it the time it deserves. What's up guys, it's Valued, and today we're going to go over how you should be looking to improve your aim and some awesome ways that you can track this improvement. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first step to improving is taking that improvement seriously. Having poor aim or even just moments in a game where your aim is out of whack can be really frustrating. You can do everything you can to get into a great spot to get that down, and then you whiff your shots. Trust me, we've all been there. What's important is not to get frustrated and look at these instances as examples of how you struggle with your aim. These types of scenarios can give you a lot of insight into where your weaknesses lie and help you dial into the actual problem and fix it. Staying conscious of how you've missed shots in the past, be it poor tracking, over flicking, or even flat out just missing due to poor crosshair placement. Going into future games and putting a focus on these things as you take fights help a ton. But if you just chalk it up to a one-off mistake or blame the situation on something else like your teammates or lag, you're not doing yourself any favors. You should always start with yourself and be critical of what you did and how your mechanics might have failed you. This doesn't mean get all down on yourself and get discouraged, but it's important to stay self-critical if you want to improve, and especially so if you want to track your improvement and continue to climb to greatness. To properly track your improvement and continue to fine-tune your practice to make sure you keep improving, you're gonna need to really pay attention in-game. It can be tough with all the factors involved in Apex to really know where your weaknesses lie, and even tougher to practice on improving those weaknesses. We'll touch on my favorite way to do this in a sec, but the most important thing is to be willing to track your progress. So many players will spend a day or two really focusing on their aim, but if you're serious about improving, you need to build habits that are going to keep you improving and stick to them. Remember, this is a long climb, guys. You're not going to be clipping people overnight, and being ready for this process is just as important as actually trying it out for yourself. Normal games in the firing range are the obvious examples of how you can take time to warm up or practice with a focus specifically on your aim. But let's touch on the best way to do it if you really want to improve. And that is the best free game on the market called AimLab. I know, most of us want to do everything right inside of Apex, but the bottom line is the game doesn't have the tools required to really hone in on specific aspects of your aim and keep you improving. Sure, spamming a ton of games can help, but it can also hurt. Playing match after match with bad habits or not fully understanding where you need to improve doesn't do you much good, and it can actually lead to you getting comfortable doing things wrong. Well, for your aim, AimLab is literally the best option out there. The level of tracking this game gives you on every aspect of your aim is incredible. With thousands of drills that each specialize in a specific area of your aim, no matter where your weaknesses lie, AimLab has you covered. And to start, if you really don't know where you're weak, no worries. Hop into a couple of drills and let AimLab show you what you're struggling with. The skills section in this game is my favorite spot for finding those areas that you need to work on. If you struggle with knowing what you're doing wrong with your aim in fights, this section has you covered with tons of awesome drills that focus on every major area of your aim. The stats and feedback the game gives you after every drill is crazy in depth. Seriously, from seeing where you're overcorrecting on a flicking drill or what side of the target you're favoring on a tracking drill, it will tell you everything. Obviously, it also bolsters your ego a little bit with your accuracy and speed stats, but I really like the specifics of how I'm messing up that really help me hone in on the problem so I can put time fixing any part of my aim. Now, my personal favorite way to use AimLab is a double purpose, a warm-up and a way to tell where my weaknesses are. This gives me a firm use case for this rather than just saying, oh, I'll hop on when I have extra time. Combining this with my warm-up not only helps me to come into my game frying, but it sets a precedent for where my weaknesses are so I can think about them before I ever enter a game. Like I talked about before, understanding where the weaknesses in your aim are and actively working on them is the key to improving your aim. And doing this before you play refreshes your focus on whatever those areas may be. And it also helps you pinpoint them as a focal point of your actual play session. Another great way to use AimLab is after you see an issue in-game. So let's say you're playing alone and whiff a bunch of shots in a fight that you feel you should have hit. Well, then take 10 minutes, hop into AimLab, and get into a drill with the type of aim you just struggled with. Let me give you a couple examples. Did you miss some shots with an AR on a moving target? Then hop into a tracking drill. Or if you're missing shots with your PK or Mastiff in those close-range fights, then you better get into some flicking drills to dial that in. These are just 2 examples, but AimLab has you covered no matter what type of aim that you're struggling with. The final and most important step to this process is applying it to your game. You'll naturally see a huge increase in your accuracy from spending time in AimLab. But the key here is to continue this process play session after play session. Like we talked about before, this isn't a one-off thing that's going to permanently improve your mechanics. It's important that the practices and habits make their way into your daily mindset about the game. And if you honestly want to see improvement and become the best player you can be, AimLab and all aim practice that you do should be seen as a long-term process that constantly evolves as you get better and better. No matter how good you feel yourself getting, you can always get better. And if you stop putting a focus on your aim, those bad habits can sneak their way back in and actually revert your progress. Guys, I want to see you be the best you can, so stay on top of it and stay serious about your improvement, and work out a routine that you enjoy and you're willing to stick with. If you make AimLab the backbone of your aiming practice and stay excited about the idea of becoming a better player, you are going to see improvement fast. I can't describe how much improvement you're going to see if you spend 10 to 15 sessions focused on your aim with the right mindset and tools. As always, guys, it's been your boy Valued, and I want to hear about what part of your aim that you've been struggling with. I'm sure we all have more in common here than you might actually think. Anyways, that's all for me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.